Hello and welcome to this video today. I am speaking with the Executive Chairman of EQ Resources, Mr. Oliver Kleinhempel. It is a good opportunity for us to engage with you and let you know what is happening with your company, the capital raise and the strategy for the company over the next months. Oliver, welcome.
Hi, Pete. Good chatting again. Thanks for the time.
I'd like to first start off with a question about the capital raise that EQR has recently successfully completed. Can you talk to us about the funds raised and where you tend to allocate them for the company?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Pete. I think we've obviously made the corresponding announcements and gave the market I believe a good insight on what are the, let's say, short-term targets and what are the, let's say, users, and one of them, a driving factor certainly was the repayment of one of the three loan facilities that we still have in place in Spain. So that was an allocation of around 50% of the money raised, and we're very pleased that Oaktree is really backing the company, the management team, and they've been participating with the exact same amount. So we are about to pay down one of the larger facilities in Spain, and we are in very good discussions with the Spanish banks to basically roll these facilities over. And as also announced just a couple of days ago, Oaktree is supporting us in that exercise, and we've just got the extension of the letter of credits, which are currently the security package that supports these facilities in Spain. And with the positive development that I'm sure we touch on in a minute, and the cash flow that is generated from the operations, we're very positive that we can service the debt there over just a few years. I guess we'll see that and structure that as we go. Certainly the rest of the funds raised is allocated to the projects themselves. We had over the last 2 quarters quite an exercise to basically set the infrastructure up for the southern part of the pit. As everybody know, this is the main exercise still ongoing. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a delay throughout the rain season, and we are still in some areas where we can free dig some material. So we're talking about a couple of 100,000 tons a month with our existing fleet, and with the new mining team that is in place now. We've introduced David Lau, a very senior person, who've also remodeled the pit a bit, and I think we see optimization there. So that will be, again, the main focus where we put the money. In Saloro, I guess they have a clear work program. I just came from Spain last week, and some funds went to Spain to support the installation of the third ore sorter. So these were the main reasons to raise capital. But I would say, again, that the driving force was really to get the Spanish banks to a state where we can effectively restructure the loan facilities that we have taken over from previous times, where Oaktree had facilities that were rolled over on an annual basis. We want to give our balance sheet a bit more certainty, and we want to, again, put in place maybe a multi-year term facility. And therefore, we had to pay some of the facilities down or repay them now. And that was a purpose, and I'm very happy that large existing shareholders participated in that exercise, Peter.
It's very good to get a strengthened balance sheet from which to launch and continue the growth story. And the growth story at Saloro has been fantastic, Oliver, since the company acquired it, and the improvements with the ore sorting and the management team there. It's gone from strength to strength. How much more improvement is there to come in this Spanish operation?
No, we are very, very happy with what we see on the ground. Kevin himself, since he moved into the role as Chief Technical Officer, he's probably in Spain more often than the colleagues might want him around. No, they always enjoy, kidding aside. But he spent all of April on the ground into May, and I've been there last week. We see the improvements coming. Those investors and stakeholders that have been in the business hands-on, they understand that modifying a minerals processing facility at the grades where we are running, not to ignore the fact that we are mining at 0.1 to 0.2%, and we get that upgraded to a 50-60% concentrate. So there's a lot of value add generated. But every time you make a modification inside the plant, you upset the plant on different areas. So it's a multi-iteration process to get it to where it is today. We are running at 65%, 60 to 65% recovery consistently. We brought it up from 40% when we acquired the plant, and everybody knew there's potential, but it required patience and the right skill set and the people behind it. There's still a bit of a way to go. Again, the third X-ray sorter will make a significant difference, to be commissioned in August this year. Delivered in July, commissioned in August. It's the same machine as we have it operating in Spain already, 2 units, and in Mount Carbine as well, 2 units. So there's no learning curve that the guys have to go through. And then hit it hard, hit more volume, separate more waste, less dilution in the plant in terms of grade, which makes the downstream equipment simply work better. So we see these continuous improvements towards the end of the year, months by months. I think that is the work program that we have to be patient with. And in terms of production, I think in our latest investor deck, we've shown the uptick, and there's certainly always a dip when you do larger modifications in the plant. You have low availability, but while we do all this, we keep delivering product to our customers. We all remember that we have signed large offtake contracts, so we cannot just stop for 3 months and get it all done in one go. So I think the market, our customers appreciate that in the tight market that we are in today. So we keep pushing, but I guess from the current 30,000 MTUs per quarter, or 10,000 MTUs per month, which is around 20 container shipments per month, we see potential to bring that up to 35 to 40,000 ultimately, once we get into some higher grade sections in the pit. So there's a good 20% uptick still to be expected once these modifications are done. And just to close out, they do not require a significant amount of CapEx in Spain. I think the ore sorter is probably the single largest ticket, and an ore sorter costs 700,000. So that has been paid, and all the rest is just about further debottlenecking within the plant.
And Oliver, look, I think a couple of years ago, it was just Mount Carbine within EQ Resources. That the Soloro acquisition has come on. We're a major producer of tungsten. You just said 30,000 MTUs per quarter. That's a significant tonnage of product. So that's come a long way in that time. And Mount Carbine was the company, the mine that the company was built upon. How is it transitioning at the moment, and what's your outlook for that asset?
Look, I mean, we know it's a great asset. I mean, when you look at capital expenditure from day one as compared to many of the projects which are under development are out there, I think we call it a capital efficient, ramp up still. Time is money, and certainly we have been late on some of our milestones. And again, the main exercise now is really the south wall stripping. It's a well-defined section, geotechnically not the easiest area in the mine. But as I said before, with our new mining team, David Laulau and his team, are doing a fabulous job. We are modifying a bit, the pit traffic. How can we mine at the eastern cutback? That is also an area which we have highlighted in our recent announcements, where we do see great upside at the moment. So we prioritize the eastern area of the pit for ore recovery in a sense, or exploitation at the same time. In parallel, we are doing the south wall stripping, and to manage both at the same time, again, needs a lot of experience, which we got on board now. We still have a bit to go there. Again, we are still in some free dig areas. We go back blasting very aggressively. We are looking at increasing the mine volume from currently 250-300,000 tons, close to 400,000 tons in the coming quarter. So we are going to accelerate that. And the good thing is, I just invite everybody to have a look at our last year's drilling results and the work we have done beginning of the year. We spent $2 million just RC drilling and infill drilling these areas. We've learned from the first stage of the pit that it is tricky, it is nuggety, and the veins are shifting. But again, we had very good feedback from the RC drilling and the exercise that we've done over the last 12 months. And so we're very confident that we have extremely good grade in a very strong vein section. So I always compare the Johnson system that is in the eastern cutback is a 10 to 12 meter wide vein package. The Yolande system beneath the south wall fall or the south wall is a system that extends 30 plus meters. So we have 3 times the width and higher grade. So yeah, I think everybody focuses on that area, and we are going to again deliver monthly news on how do we sit on the timeline. And I would say that we probably still have a bit below 1 million ton of waste to be recovered, and therefore again we need to make sure that the eastern cutback is followed through as well, which, as I said, is good grade. And those of you who have looked out on our pit profile, the 335 level in terms of elevation is an absolute game changer. So once we hit those levels, again, the veins are widening and the grade is improving significantly. So this is probably, again, what to watch out for.
Yeah, the Mount Carbine, as I know it's called internally often, it's a great asset, and we look forward to some great production for many years to come. The third asset which the company is involved with is the acquisition of TMG. Perhaps you could give shareholders an update on the process involved there.
No, absolutely. I think it really follows the narrative. I think most have understood. We have announced the logic behind it. We have a very good relation with the TMG team and their advisors, and with the operators on the ground. I'm heading back to Vietnam next week. So we are working through. We have announced a deal in November. We thought we can finalize the legals in the first quarter. This has slipped out a little bit. There's always complexity around M&A and structure, specifically when you want to acquire overseas assets. So without going into the details, but I guess the legals are pretty much complete as we speak. And yeah, we're hoping to execute in the coming days. I don't see any variation to the way or how we have structured and what we've announced with regards to the deal in terms of pricing, in terms of scale. And again, our job on the ground is to make sure that we develop the synergies and as outlined. And what I can say, the production run that we have supervised or that we have supported in March and April, it was a very good run. It really proved us that there's very strong technical capability sitting within TMG. The market is just right. The Chinese have restricted clearly the supply of tungsten in any form or shape to the Western world, and that opened the opportunity. And together with our partner on the marketing side, Square Resources, we have already now supplied to 3 new customers some of the sample material produced in April. So yeah, I'm looking forward to get running as well, and I'm positive that we can announce something in the coming days.
We're truly an international mining producer once Vietnam is up and running. And that's a good segue into recent activity. There's been some great new appointments, some highly experienced executives appointed to the board and management team of EQ Resources. Can you give us a bit of an overview of those appointments and also today's announcement about the government advisor?
No, absolutely. And without naming everybody, but I guess also a big thank to our team on the ground that is already with the company for such a long time, right? So, I mean, we have great additions to the team. I think complementary skill sets and very great characters, to work with. Most of them we have known before, so we had a bit of a flavor. But again, there's many out there which are not mentioned in any news article or any announcements,
Yeah.
that basically build the backbone of the company. And again, as I said, it's great to see people joining because they like the story, they like the management team, despite the fact there's still a pathway, right? But look, from the mining side, again, it was announced David Lawler, a very experienced gentleman, who've joined us, who brought talent with him to the company. We have announced the appointment of Greg Bradshaw to the board. Greg is an old friend. He has been leading one of the largest tungsten companies out there, in a what I think is also a challenging jurisdiction within Vietnam with all the opportunities. But it's an impressive operation that he has built over there, which gave us as EQR the confidence, and basically we have that strategic partnership in place. We supply 100% of our product out of Australia into that facility. And as Greg has been relocating himself with the family to Australia, it was just a perfect fit for us. I'm very thankful that he took the position up. And the most recent one just announced today, as you said, Peter, is the appointment of Andrew, the former ambassador to Malaysia and Vietnam. He has helped a lot of critical minerals companies, Linus in Malaysia, ourselves in Vietnam. And yeah, one of his great passions is critical minerals. So when I brought up the idea of himself assisting us, I think it took a few seconds only, and we had a deal done. So I'm very pleased Andrew came on board, advising us, and he did already over the last couple of months. And I'm just happy that we were able now to announce that formally. And yeah, we'll take it from here. And
Yeah.
with Jono, just last but not the least, absolutely, Jono Cord, I mean, joined us as our new CFO, a great fine man, and very experienced. Has worked for a Chinese group before, has Asian exposure, understands our logic to go downstream over time, integrate ourselves into Western supply chains, and this is where he can add tremendous value as well. So I think we are well settled, and yeah, we just have to get our milestones run one by one, and hit those milestones, and keep going with what we have said we are going to do.
Yeah. And you mentioned supply chains, and Jono's experience there will be essential and well regarded. It's no secret in the background, the supply chains for critical minerals and tungsten, one of the most critical into the vast markets of the US and Europe. Supply chains are very tight at the moment. They've been reduced by Chinese supply constrictions, and tungsten price is quite healthy. EQ Resources will be well positioned to take advantage of both the tungsten price today and the future of those supply chain situations. How do you see the tungsten landscape today, Oliver, and perhaps going forward?
Well, I think you made the right points there, Peter. I mean, geopolitically, we've seen a significant shift. Sometimes people might think that this is just a bargaining chip from our friends in China towards the US. I think it's a structural shift. Simply, if you look at how internally within China, and also towards their export basket, I mean, they're exporting EV cars. They're not just exporting cheap electronic products. So, I mean, we've all have to recognize that fact, and that the Chinese supply chains and export-oriented industries, they're looking at value-add products, and therefore they require to the same degree those high-tech materials as the Western world requires. So there's a competition around those, and I think there was a recent video that we've published as well. Greg and I had a conversation around that topic, and just invite everybody to have a look as well on Greg's view there. It's a structural change, and I think parties in the Western world, our customers have already woken up to it. I can say that allowed us to also bring in customers from a funding side. We've announced large offtake agreements. Each and every offtake contract had a prepayment component, so customers are very supportive to EQR as to the other suppliers. And that's the name of the game. How do you integrate yourself best into the supply chain? Again, our personal backgrounds is towards the industry. We do understand the end users. We do understand the refiners pretty well. Yeah, we try to, again, redefine the industry and its supply chains, and invite customers to participate in further expansions on our sides. But sometimes we have customers who invite us and say they have some thoughts around, how to maybe develop something within their jurisdictions, and we assist, on that side, assessing opportunities potentially in the US, but also across Europe. And I think, again, with our current footprint, I guess we are being seen as certainly a very serious partner to team up with. And yeah, that's all to say. I guess the tungsten price will remain strong. There's absolutely no reason why it should soften. An absolute shortage on both the primary supply of concentrate, but also the availability of scrap, which makes a significant substitute to some of the refiners. The scrap prices are just going through the roof at the moment. China has very smartly purchased a lot of scrap over the last 2 years from the Western markets. I made a comment in some of the recent announcements that they have doubled the imports of scrap that they got from Europe and the US, while we have been struggling with high interest rates, and yeah, everybody wanted to reduce the inventories. And the end result was China has purchased most of the available material. So let's see where it's going. We have to, again, focus. I think the market is pretty much on our side. And I'm, again, very happy that we have built these strong relationships with customers. We are all in the same boat.
And that's almost unique. EQ Resources is fully integrated into the supply chain of this critical mineral with all the customers around the world, the end users, and also building those government contacts as well. Let's round out this, Oliver, with just a bit of a summary on the SPP and call to our shareholders on taking up their allocations.
Yeah, absolutely. We invited everybody. I think it was a significant and important round, the most recent capital raise, again, with the purpose to deal with our dear friends and colleagues in Spain, the Spanish banks specifically. And I think with the track record at Saloro, everybody's confidence is really increasing day by day. And we're very happy to have the right talent on the ground. And also with the support of Kevin, we are seeing daily results of what we decided we want to change, and that impact, to see that coming, is fantastic. That motivates all of us. Mount Carbine, again, we understood that capital is required to get the south wall stripped. It's always an upfront expense, unfortunately. But we have confidence, and we do see from the drill data that we are reaching effectively the center of the ore body, as it's known. And that's the price to win here. And we're all working into a very positive market, as we've just elaborated as well, Peter. So it's great to see support for the SPP already. And yeah, we invite shareholders to have a good look and be there. We have shareholders who are with us for a very long time, very patient, but they believe in the narrative and the story. And again, with the TMG transaction, I think we build a pretty unique composition of being able to supply concentrate, but also to supply, downstream products. And these markets are volatile. In each sector or segment, they're pretty volatile, and we want to have the optionality for the company moving forward and build on that basis. And again, every appointment, everybody who participates from the board or assisting, advising the company, I think that's a proof that we're not that wrong with what we want to do. And again, we got the right talent and very senior people assisting us, and that makes us very proud, and we look forward working with everybody.
All right, Oliver, that's a pretty good summary. There's some great points made, some good supporting discussion around what people should take up their allocation, and help support what has now become a great and large team at EQ Resources, both inside the company and in terms of their investors and shareholders. So thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it.